everyone and welcome to today's video. Firstly, an apology if you can hear any loud noises. The house is hollow. So sorry about all the noise in the background. Now, yesterday you would have seen me working on the preliminary sketches of the idea that I've got for my assignment for my first part of my coursework. And this is going to be based on four figures reaching into a basket of reduced food with money pouring out their pockets, showing greed and desire. And then hopefully we can get a little skinny figure in who's only got a handful of change and would love to be able to get near that food. Yesterday when doing this piece and working out what I wanted where, I mentioned that I used a bit of an Alice Cooper song for part inspiration, and I got my songs modelled up. So just to correct it, it's actually Eat Some More. It's a song that really fits into this image. So that's on Alice Cooper's Brutal Planet album, Eat Some More. If you listen to the lyrics in that song, it's very poignant and relates to human greed. So I found that a bit of inspiring, and I wanted to do something like William Blake. So changing a normal everyday scene into almost our kind of religious Old Testament scene of angels and devils fighting and such. So what I've now got to do is change the A4 sketch onto A3 paper. Now the paper that I'm using today is it's my cheaper paper. So it's the Langton, not cold pressed apparently, and it's got fine grain. It's a watercolour paper and it's by Daler and Roney. This paper I really don't like for doing pencil work on. Really don't like. But I got it very cheap. So hey, I'm not going to argue with cheap paper. And also because I'm going to be using ink and wet media on this, it makes more sense to have a paper that can take the wet media than take the dry media. So for wet media, I'm going to be using ink, and I'm going to be using a Daler and Roney one. It's a drawing ink, Indian black, but it doesn't really come out black, it's more like a dark grey. And so handy hint, always shake your bottle. But I probably won't be doing that in this one. So today, for this little hour, I'm just going to concentrate on mapping out the drawing. And the pencil I'm using again is just a really cheap 3H because I want a very light line to start with. And as I build up and I'm much more confident in the marks I'm making, then I can make it darker. My first thought is I've maybe done the trolley too big, but the trolley's got to be big because it's in the front. So we can amend that and play with that. Right, so the figures. I was contemplating making them a lot taller. So I'm just going to map in roughly where I want them. Not putting too much pressure onto this. That's all. And I want an angle at this point, so because I was going to do something around here is going to go flying. So I was going to originally do shadows coming from them with kind of demonic looks to them, but I don't think that's going to work so well. I'm still not sure on that. I think I'd rather put the energy into getting the people right. And I can do like a black background anyway to it. So I want to get a really nice sharp angle. I want them to look very long. So I'm just having a look at the angle that I used last time, and that's quite a bit sharper, so that's good. That's about right. I don't normally map in or measure any of my stuff. So I don't want them too big, so they're not going to be, the heads aren't going to be as wide as this, but hopefully their shoulders might. In fact, that one's going to need to come in. Right. If I bring this line up, that's, you can have the shadow going that way. Right. I'm going to keep the figures faceless, simply for effect. But I am going to keep the holes as eyes. Because at the end of the day, these figures don't see what they're doing as a problem. And this was actually a lot easier when I was rough sketching it. I felt more confidence when doing it that way. What I'm going to do is play around with the hands and maybe make them look a bit more grotesque. I'll do this before I go to work, because it's haven't really got that much time to work on it. Actually, that's still going to give me a nice amount of room for the shadow. And I just realised you guys can't really see what I'm doing. My apologies. Try and bring this down a bit. Yeah, I'm going to put them away using a light pencil. I'm not so worried about these being anatomically correct. If you've seen any of William Blake's work and Henry Moore's work, or any other artists, you'll notice a lot of the time when they're making a dramatic image, the anatomy is either pushed too far or twisted to make it fit the image far better. Then this guy has got to be, I'm keeping their heads slightly in different positions because I want each one to have an individual expression. Kind of looks like the aliens, the greys or something, doesn't it? His eyes are a little bit too far. You're getting a bigger face. Now, I haven't measured out with a ruler any of these angles because I still want it to look quite organic. I don't want it to look too stark. And in fact, I don't really ever use rulers for mapping things out. I'm not keen on them. I struggle with rulers. Do we have room? Yes, we got room for a little guy. So if those two angles go out, they go right out here, and then they're going to come back at this point. Just brings it down to crossing there, there, which is, well, that's perfect. So I've done my angles. Whoop. I'm comfortable with those, and my little skinny stick figure who simply wants a little bit of food but only has a little bit of money is going to sit just here. If you're learning to draw, definitely please always use a ruler and follow instructions given. I do things freehand because I'm kind of used to it and it's the style that I work with. And yesterday I got confused about which hand went where. I still want the shoulders in. Your shoulders are hidden behind those guys. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And then the shadows for them are going to go, yeah, I'll roughly map that in. Right, so hands, need to work, I've got to remember how to map these out. My hands are all sweaty right now, which is not a good help. Right, so if you're reaching forward like that, I've got to bring this foreshortening. But these guys are twisted, so yeah, we're good. Let's go for it. Right. So handy hint, if you can draw things the opposite way round that they are, it's really, really handy. So let's go to a B pencil because I want to keep this quite soft. And I'm going to accentuate the fingers. Quite a lot. Really super long fingernails onto them. Well, we'll sort out the detail and the neatness a little bit later. And the hands are going to be black as well. So you're going to have the black hands, the black eyes, and the black background against the white bodies, and then there'll be the black shadow and darker images in here. And this little figure here is going to be mostly dark, but his hands are going to be white if I can get the detail in there. So this guy's hand needs to be done. If you can look at your own hand when drawing it, it'll always help. Also, books on palmistry give you an idea of the different finger lengths. Even at this stage, it's still going to be very, very rough. In total, I think it's going to take about 6 hours to get this drawing right. Someone's doing washing up downstairs. bang and clatter of the plates. Maybe we should get plastic cutlery. Well, no, plastic's bad for the environment. Scrap that idea. Right, I'm going to sharpen up this pencil because it's getting a little bit too blunt. Right, got to keep an eye on time today because I'm a bit time restricted. This was the handle I messed up last time. Again. When using rubbers, don't use these jobs. They will smudge your work. I tend to keep these just for throwing at things. Use a putty rubber or a Tombow mono eraser, which is a special type of silicone. But yeah, don't waste your money on this type of eraser. So she grabbing this. Also, when using the putty rubber, you don't need to use the whole thing, especially when small detail work. Just literally massage it. This one I think is a Daler-Rowney, so it's not the best. It's a bit stiff for a putty rubber. Take a tiny bit off, and that's all you need. And don't push hard, just gently massage. Okay. And you see I'm not pushing hard with the pencils today, so that I can just take away and add bits. So that's the forehand. Gosh, this putty rubber's terrible. But yeah, definitely don't waste your money on cheap rubbers. Get something good quality. I mean, pencils, you can get away with using cheap pencils to begin with, and then try and get something like the Faber-Castell 9000 series. Oh, those pencils are to die for. £15 a set in the UK right now from Hobbycraft, but I bought 2 tins, so it was money well spent. Problem is, when you use a high quality pencil, it's very hard to go back to a cheap pencil. For my coursework, I'm not going to use my absolute best products. Maybe on the final bit. I don't know if I want the eyes long. Let's see, his head's, where's he looking? He's looking over here, because he's watching that one to see what that one's going to grab, so it knows which one that is going to grab. So actually here is about right. I could always leave a little highlight in there, but that might make them look a little bit goofy, but cute. And then a little bit of shadow under there. Clothes wise, I was thinking of just keeping them in like a simple shift. We'll sort where that arm's coming from in a minute. So hopefully you can now see how the forms are coming along. So the pencil I'm using right now is an 8B, so I've gone between the 3H and an 8B. The 8B is more smudgy because it's softer, But what I can do is come through with something like a probably a 2B, and then just sharpen up the lines. And I'll use a click pencil to do that. But for now, this is literally just mapping out. And something else that I can use, apart from using lines, different lines and weight lines, so things like hatching and such, I definitely want to smudge off some of the lines to soften them. I don't want these guys to have too much anatomy to them. They're faceless. The face of greed, which has no face. Well, technically it's everybody's face. Actually, where's that smudger? When you use softer pencils, they smudge a lot easier. So just be aware of where your hand is. In fact, right now I should have a piece of paper under my hand to stop major smudging. Might do that in a second. Just get this bit sorted. Ooh, I've got charcoal on this one. Oh well. As to the effect. Just so I can block that area in. Paper. It's getting a bit too smudgy. Yeah, this protects your drawing from the greases on your hand. So in this figure, I just want the neck slightly longer at this point. And then more shadow there. And almost butting shoulders with this one, but this one's still in front. So there's still a power struggle between the front two. And this one back here, I'm going to give a slightly chunkier neck to. See, now if I change the top of the eye and give it a more angular start, a bit like a cartoon, you notice the change in the characteristic. It becomes more aggressive. But it's only a tiny subtle change of angle. Otherwise it will look cartoonish and the image won't work on the whole. I also want to define male and female. So the thinner face would be the female and the fatter face would be the male. Though in modern society with overeating and such, I know this does not always apply. can neaten up that shadow line. This edge is going to have to be a very sharp edge, I think. Someone's even, sounds like someone's washing their hair now. Yeah, this house has hollow walls, so you can literally hear everything in the house. We has no secrets here. Kind of hoping that this Yeti mic won't be picking up every single sound. Now, I'm penciling in the shadow just so that I'm 100% sure of where I'm going to put the ink at the end. Yeah, quite happy with that. So what happened then was I just took a step back from the image and had a look at it from the side, and I'm quite happy with that. So this guy, I just need to map in his arm. Mapping this on. There's going to be a little bit of shadow there, and there's going to be a bit of shadow there, and a bit of shadow here. This outer arm I need to just twiddle a little bit. Where did I put that putty wubber? I thought I saw a putty wubber. I did see a putty wubber. Sometimes putty rubbers won't get out all of the ink parts, and that's where having a battery powered eraser can be a real big handy thing. So, over exaggerate the shoulders there. Just finish this one. So rib cage, stomach, hip, leg, knee, leg. So down to the trolley, so we'll just move that up. The guides will be back soon. So the trolley is not mapped on a proper trolley, that would just take forever. So I'm going to do random shapes, but at the same time I want a couple of them identifiable. So in this case there's a long shape for a baguette, and it's kind of packaged item. What I'll probably do is put words like bargain, goodies, cheapo, some things like that, just to point out what they're so desperate to get in the trolley. And like I was explaining yesterday, I'm gonna definitely keep an apple or two in there, and the apple will be to do with man's sins, so Adam and Eve and that sort of thing. And I'll probably put a banana in there because it's completely bananas, the situation, and probably some nuts because it really is nutty. But a lot of the shapes can just be literally shapes. Because when people go bargain shopping, sometimes they're completely blinded by the stickers. So in the place where I work, we do yellow stickers, and it's like yellow sticker fever. They don't care what's on the price, they just see the yellow sticker and grab it. I mean, it's a psychiatrist's dream to go and study people when they bargain shop, because everyone's behaviour completely changes, manners go out the windows, elbows come in, there can be shouting matches, there can be people taking out of other people's trolleys. at Christmas, the most wonderful time of the year, me and my colleagues, we've had people take baskets and trolleys and ram them into our backs just because they wanted literally two bread rolls in the bag. That's how bad it gets. I mean, it's hilarious when you see people taking out of other people's trolleys because they're like, you know, you're doing naughty there. And I've managed to take a couple of people for about, I think this week I did about 6 laps with some chicken steak things. And I was having to save my colleagues from being harassed by customers because they were getting really rude and nasty. But all over just small items. And that's why in my studies, I've actually, and what's inspired this is drawing the fact that being chased around the store by loads of people for 1 bag of donuts. When you put the stuff into the trolley, everyone crowds round. When you're trying to put the stuff onto the shelves, they just grab and snatch. No matter how full their basket is, they've got to have that next bargain. And it's quite, it's amazing to watch. If you just stand on the sidelines and watch it all. I remember one Christmas going shopping at Morrison's, and they took everything that was to be reduced backstage. Common sense, keep out of the way of the customers who were literally swarming around the entrance to the loading bay area. And so the staff popped out of every other area to confuse everyone. And they tried to get it onto the shelves of this one unit so that everything could go out. And people were using the trolleys to block off the area so that they could be the sole person to get to that shelving unit. That's what greed does to people. And I get the feeling everybody's aware that they're doing it, they just do it anyway. And then if I do the bar across there, because that bit's going to go up there, that bit's going to go there. That'll be the handlebar. Okay, so that's my rough trolley. And I can just do little random shapes here and here to indicate the items as they go further down. And now, this little guy in the background needs some love. Sharpened up the pencil a lot more for this bit. He's going to be the opposite to these guys. put some shoulders in there. Okay, so a slight problem there. Let's quickly fix that. Okay, so I'm happy with that. See if I can get the camera any higher. That's probably as high as we're going to be able to go. So then I need to add in a couple of notes of money. Hanging out of pockets. In fact, I could make a break up in the image by just putting a single note, just floating down. But, no. That's a nope. Fix that later. As long as one of them's kind of got money poking out the pocket. And I can twist that around so it looks more 3D-ish. Right, I reckon that will be good to go. So that is my mapped out A3 drawing based on the sketches I did. Then it's just a case of adding the ink, refining the detail, and hopefully that will be it. So I hope this has inspired you to have a go at something different and to find the inspiration around you, be it if you're out shopping, out for a walk, at work, at school. Have a look and see if there are scenarios that you can dynamically change into something completely different. It doesn't have to be religious inspired, it can be hero inspired. So if you like your Marvel, if you like your Pokemon, if you like your My Little Pony, have a go at changing them technically into different scenarios. You'll be amazed at what fun you can have with it. So till next time, thank you very much everyone, take care and have a lovely day. And happy drawing to you all.